Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. So glad you're here. Today we're doing something a little different for our August 27th, 2026 update. Instead of just rattling off a list of headlines, we're actually going on a cross-country tour. We're going to map out exactly what's happening, where it's happening, and why it matters, so we can lock these facts into our memories and see how they all connect to the larger story of India's development. Here's the game plan. 5 facts, 5 locations, 1 fast-paced tour. Think of it like a rapid-fire memory challenge. I'll toss out some questions as we travel, and I want you to try and guess the answers before I reveal them. It's the absolute best way to stay engaged. Ready to jump in? All right, first stop, we're hitting the coast. Here's your first challenge, Sayog Haptak. It's a bilateral maritime exercise between India and who? Is it A, Japan, B, Vietnam, C, Indonesia, or D, Egypt? Think back to your recent defense news. Got a guess in mind? If you said B, Vietnam, you nailed it. The Indian Coast Guard and the Vietnam Coast Guard just kicked off the second edition of this joint exercise. And geographically, we're anchoring this fact right off the coast of Chennai, Tamil Nadu, which is where the whole thing officially started. Now, what's really cool here is the sheer scope of this thing. We're not just talking about your standard everyday patrols. The main focus? Massively upgrading maritime safety, running complex search and rescue or SAR operations, and stepping up marine pollution response capabilities. Basically, making sure both nations can operate seamlessly together. But let's zoom out for a sec. Why does this matter? Well, it's a huge piece of India's Sagar vision, that stands for security and growth for all in the region, and it totally backs up the Act East policy. It's literally a perfect example of local coastal action driving massive international security. Okay, moving right along. We're leaving the eastern coast and heading deep inland, straight down into the lush, green forests of the southern Western Ghats. So we're swapping out maritime defense for some incredible biodiversity. Question number 2. Peppara Wildlife Sanctuary. Which state is it in? A, Karnataka, B, Tamil Nadu, C, Kerala, or D, Rajasthan? Lock it in. All right, if you went with C, Kerala, you're exactly right. This stunning sanctuary is tucked away in the Thiruvananthapuram district, right in the heart of the majestic Western Ghats. It's been around since 1983, covering about 53 square kilometers. And it's a super vital ecosystem, mostly because it wraps right around the catchment area of the Karmana River and the Peppara Dam, making it a key piece of the Augusta Malay Biosphere Reserve. You know, protecting these natural resources is honestly just as crucial as securing our borders. And that brings us to the big takeaway here, which is this number, 124. Why is everyone talking about 124? Well, during a recent monsoon bird survey at the sanctuary, they recorded a mind-blowing 124 distinct bird species. The Thiruvananthapuram Wildlife Division actually teamed up with warblers and waders for this, and honestly, it just goes to show how incredibly diverse these Western Ghat ecosystems really are. The conservation work? It's absolutely paying off. Coast? Check. Southern forests? Check. Now let's sweep straight up north. We are heading directly to the national capital, Delhi, for a really big update on social welfare. For stop number 3, I'm actually taking away the multiple choice crutch. Let's see if you can pull this one straight from memory. What is the exact name of the scheme the Delhi government just launched to promote women's financial security and self-reliance? Any ideas? It is called the Delhi Lakshmi Yojana. And guys, this scheme is rolling out with some serious momentum. Just look at the scale of this thing. Over 9.22 lakh women have already registered. That is a massive push toward financial self-reliance. In fact, they just handed out approval certificates to 250 beneficiaries to officially get the ball rolling. And here is the magic number, 2,500 rupees. Once all the paperwork is cleared, eligible women are going to receive exactly that amount every single month. Now, that might sound like just a simple data point, but think about it. Consistent, reliable assistance like that can completely change the economic dynamic of a family. Empowering women at the household level, it's basically a super engine for broader societal and economic growth across the nation. And how are they actually using it? Well, it's incredibly practical. This money can go toward a child's education and basic care. It can cover pressing daily household needs. It can boost whatever work they're already doing. Or, and this is great, it can even be used as seed money to kickstart small businesses. It's all about giving women the foundational power to make the financial choices that work best for their own families. All right, let's keep this momentum going. We're visually sweeping eastward now, leaving the capital behind and heading straight into the beautiful hills of the Northeast for a major update on foundational education. Here is your fourth rapid-fire question. Which state government launched the CMIMPACT READ program in August 2026? Was it A. Sikkim, B. Meghalaya, C. Tripura, or D. Manipur? If you guessed B. Meghalaya, you're right on the money. The state government there just launched the CM Impact Read and Rise program. The whole point of this initiative is just super fundamental to human development. They want to improve foundational reading skills and directly tackle the learning gaps that kids in the state are facing right now. Because, let's face it, building a strong nation starts with building a highly capable, educated next generation. So how are they actually doing it? They've laid out this brilliant step-by-step approach under the Meghalaya Universal Reading Readiness Mission. Step 1 is the ultimate goal, ensuring every single child can read and write by age 7. Step 2? That's where the real heavy lifting happens. They're focusing super intensively on rural and remote areas, strengthening reading readiness where it's traditionally the hardest to reach. And step 3 is all about empowering the teachers. They've already released a complete teacher training guide to make sure educators are totally prepared right from the launch. Okay, we've done the coast, the south, the capital, and the east. Now it's time for our final geographic leap. We're climbing all the way up to the breathtaking northern heights for an update on regional culture and tourism. Last quiz question for you today to test your knowledge. The Siru Festival was just celebrated in which state or union territory? A. Ladakh, B. Arunachal Pradesh, C. Sikkim, or D. Meghalaya? What do you think? And we are wrapping up our tour in Ladakh. The Union Territory of Ladakh just hosted the second edition of the Siru Festival. It kicked off at the incredibly gorgeous Domsna picnic spot in Kargo. I mean, just picture this. A 2-day festival happening right against the jaw-dropping backdrop of the Nankun Peaks. It is basically a giant showcase for the Siru Valley's cultural heritage, its natural beauty, and its massive tourism potential. And they are absolutely making the most of that wild geography. We're talking high adrenaline paragliding, river rafting, cycling, angling, you name it. Plus, they pair all these crazy adventure sports with really rich, deep cultural programs. The end goal here? To drive local entrepreneurship and adventure tourism right in the heart of the Siru Valley. It's just another huge piece of the national puzzle, bringing real economic vitality and infrastructure to these remote, stunning regions. And just like that, our fast-paced tour is in the books. We jumped from a joint coastal defense exercise with Vietnam down in Chennai to a massive bird survey in the Western Ghats to an awesome financial empowerment scheme for women in Delhi, over to a foundational literacy drive in Meghalaya, and finally up to a high-altitude adventure festival in Ladakh. So I want to leave you with this final thought. From coastal defense to Himalayan festivals, how do these completely distinct regional developments collectively shape India's broader growth? Because when you really looked at them all mapped out, they aren't just isolated news blurbs anymore, are they? They are the interconnected building blocks of a rapidly developing nation. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer today. I hope you found it as fascinating as I did. Keep learning, keep testing yourselves, and I will see you next time.